I'm Deb Freeman. I write. I'm a podcast host. Testing 1, 2, 3. And I love to eat. Man, that's delicious. Oh my gosh. I'm on a journey to learn more about the life and legacy of one of my culinary heroes, Edna Lewis. Hopefully you've heard of her, but unfortunately, not enough people have. But this chef, a Black woman from Virginia, changed the way the world saw Southern food and the way we eat. From Freetown, Virginia to New York City and beyond, throughout the 20th century, Edna Lewis introduced many Americans to Southern food. She's one of the great American chefs, but Edna Lewis isn't a household name. Not yet, that is. I'm headed to the Roosevelt in Richmond, Virginia, to meet my friend Chef Leah Branch. We're hosting a dinner to honor Edna's life, and I wanted to talk about her legacy. We were talking about doing another dinner because we did the Juneteenth dinner, and that was just such a success. When you said you wanted to do another dinner, why did Edna Lewis come to mind? Because I think it was your idea.
Well, of course, Edna Lewis is really the originator of the farm-to-table movement, and I don't think enough people really know that.
Yeah, you can't go to most restaurants without we got our food from here, or, the lettuce comes from this farm. And so it is interesting to go back, a few decades, and there's one woman who's kind of touting this and writing about this. So when did you first learn about Edna?
I would say maybe 5 or 6 years ago, honestly. We didn't learn about Edna Lewis when I was in school. Moving back to Virginia after I'd been gone so long and starting to see that there were a lot of amazing chefs that invented a lot of things that are nationally recognized. It's just been super eye-opening since moving back.
As a Black woman from Virginia, from a small town in Virginia, really that's something that I always found really interesting, because when people talk about Southern food, they're talking about Georgia or North Carolina or all these other places, and we have such a rich food history here. I think it comes through in your food at the Roosevelt, quite frankly. You actually tell a story on a plate, which is one of the things I really love about you. So walk me through the menu and talk about the different dishes we're gonna do at the dinner.
We really wanted it to feel like you were just having like a dinner in Edna Lewis's home. One thing I really loved about her oldest books is that there was always like a mug of coffee with a lot of the dinners. So as soon as you walk in, we're gonna give you a coffee cocktail. And then we're gonna go right into Brunswick stew. And then we're gonna move into that chicken and dumplings, which I'm so excited about, just because it's like so rich and hearty, and yet it's like just really light broth. Big fillets, that's gonna be served family style. Serve each other at the table. And then we'll get into cheek crab stew, your quail and Virginia ham, and then a big dessert buffet. So,
man.
Yeah.
And so what do you want diners to walk away from when they get up from the dinner? What do you want them to carry with them?
I want them to feel that if they use beautiful food and they treat it well, then that's fine dining. That's the best sort of food that you can get. And also just the story of Edna Lewis, which is inspiring in its own way, that she didn't necessarily have all of the tribulations that some of the other historical Black chefs have, that she was just a person who had a beautiful, idyllic life and enjoyed it and shared it with other people. And, Black people can also have those stories too. It doesn't all have to be
absolutely
rising up from the ashes, and that's awesome.
After our chat, we headed into the restaurant's kitchen so I could learn firsthand what makes Edna's cooking so special in the best way possible by cooking one of the dishes that Chef Leah will make for the dinner.
All right, so we are making Edna Lewis's pan-fried quail with country ham.
Okay.
So this is just quail, a little brown butter, country ham, and grape juice. If you just want to kind of give me a little press there.
Okay. While I press the grapes, Chef Leah browned some butter in a pan and diced the Virginia ham.
And I'm going in.
And so this has the herbs in it already?
Yep, so I've got some salt, pepper, and thyme on here.
Okay.
I'm just gonna let that hang out for a little bit.
Okay. You read it and it's super simple, but seeing it in person, it's so even I could do this, you know, and it would not allegedly taste bad if I did it.
So we're gonna give everybody one quail. Some of our ham cooked in that butter, that grape juice.
What a beautiful dish. It's just really pretty.
Okay, you ready?
I am ready. I'm so ready.
And grab a little grape there, some of that sauce.
Oh, man. You would so think there's like 30 ingredients in
Yeah.
this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it tastes really complex, but it's just grape juice, butter, ham.
Man, that is flavorful.
You know, that's really nice, and love that kind of stuff. I love, obviously, the feel of Edna Lewis's books, and that there is no like chef's ego. It's just all about the food and about like the beauty that taking care of food can bring to your life.
Yeah. I thought a lot about what Chef Leah said about Edna Lewis's dish, that there was no ego present. And that's one of the many reasons that makes Edna stand out as a chef. The night of the dinner, the sold-out crowd showed up ready to learn about Edna Lewis, not just through words, but through her dishes. While Chef Leah ran a tight kitchen to make sure all 8 courses were delicious, I had the privilege of guiding everyone through the incredible menu. Because really, it's all about the food and letting it speak for itself. Doing the research for this dinner led me to think more about Edna Lewis and just how much she contributed to culinary history.
Another one, Edna.
Not only did she change the way many Americans thought about seasonal cooking, she was able to change how people thought about Southern food as well. The food of the South goes so much deeper than fried chicken and macaroni and cheese. There's also an elegance and simplicity to not just Southern food, but to Virginia food as well. Edna Lewis was cooking the food she grew up on, and I realized that I needed to do more than just read her cookbooks. I needed to explore those roots and how that shaped her legacy. And that's where we'll go to next, Freetown, Virginia, the birthplace of Edna Lewis.